the whole coining of Netflix and chill and stuff like that. So it's now become this thing that's like, no, this is what society's doing, so I should be doing it. And it's like, do you actually want to? Do you actually want to go and sit and watch that, or do you?
Yeah, play that back.
But I remember, if you've ever read a book called Irresistible, I highly recommend it. It's so good. It's about behavioral addiction. So sometimes even stuff like, depressive feelings and stuff like that, it can become a behavioral addiction without us knowing. But with alcohol, for example, like it can be a behavioral addiction, not to getting drunk, but it's like, I can't hang out with my friends unless I'm like that. Yeah. Also, it's like if I have a shit day, straight to the bottle. And I was very fortunate when I was 19 that my girlfriend at that time, I had a lot of girlfriends in this podcast. Woo! Sorry, babe. She broke up with me at 19. I remember straight away, like, my mates were like, "Oi, let's go out and just get smashed." And I'm like, no, like, I'm not getting trolley. Like, at that moment, it was more because I know how dumb I am when I'm happy drunk. I don't want to go and get sad drunk because who knows what the fuck's going to happen. And also now in hindsight, I was glad because I also didn't want to use alcohol as a device to sort of connect
for
to
enjoyment.
Bad problems. If something's bad coming, don't turn to the bottle. Yeah. Or whatever it is, or if it's drugs or whatever it is, But
it's just, it's subtle different phrasing changes, right? It's like getting together with a group of friends. You should be talking about the great time that you're going to have, the stuff that you're going to catch up on, all that kind of stuff. And if there's drink there, then that's great. But actually going out and saying, we're going to go out and get hammered. Yeah. That's the first priority. That's like the people that you're going to see and the things that you're going to experience. That's not first. Like,
and you're connecting with escapism as well, which is a very dangerous thing.
100%. And, everyone needs a certain level of that. But if you're going out and seeing friends and it's always the same people that are going, let's get hammered, you go, why do we always have to go out and get hammered? Why can't we just, I don't know, go and bowling or putt-putt or something instead?
That happened to me after I quit bar work.
Yeah, really?
While I was bartending, it was such a, it's what you do. Like, it's a part of your life. You're like, okay, finish my shift. Yeah, I'll have a few drinks, whatever.
That's the behavior. It's that habitual thing.
And like, I remember when I stopped bartending and it was just, working on music and stuff. And people would be like, yeah, let's go out. I'll be like, yeah, cool. Like thinking that we'll go out, like you said, like get smashed, whatever. Just have drinks, but it always just led to getting absolutely trolleyed. But it's like when they were like, oh yeah, I don't really want to go out and drink. I was like,
yeah, what do you mean?
What are we gonna do? Like, no, hold. Like, and it's like,
do you talk?
It's like, oh, you can. Exactly. Yeah, I was just like, oh, there's other things that you can actually, like, yeah, we could just go to the movies. Yeah, we could just, play pop-up. Like, there's a mountain of options that you could do that didn't involve the slightest hint of, that regularity. Yeah. And I was like,
and it's also like you were saying about behavioral, but in that situation too, it's situational as well, right? Yeah. Because you were in a bar and because it was normalized, you were around it all the time. Yeah. What are you going to do when you finish? Everything else is closed. Everyone's going to go home. So what can we do before we go home? The only thing you can do is sit there and have a drink. And it's like, well, that's not healthy either.
It was not.
No. It was not. Because that's the thing. It is like, especially with mental fitness, it's like, I think I know what's really helped me in the past is 20 minutes. It's not like I'd meditate, but I also use it as more like a stop all distractions. Like a phone's a distraction. So like, if people eat like alcohol, it's a distraction. Turning on Netflix, like, I hated my day at work, or I hated my day at, like, whatever happened. And then they just sit and turn on the TV, and it's like stimulation, keeping the brain going. Yeah. And they're not actually not diving in.
Yeah, they're not going, I want to watch that show. They're going, I'm just going to stick on the TV. And then they scroll through and they're like, oh, nothing's on. And then they put something on that's like the best of a worst set of things to watch. And it's like, why would you choose to do that? Like, and it is and I think Netflix is a great example as well. The whole coining of Netflix and chill and stuff like that. So it's now become this thing that's like, no, this is what society's doing, so I should be doing it. And it's like, do you actually want to? Do you actually want to go and sit and watch that, or are you just putting it on because you don't know what else to do?
Yeah. And even that, it could start taking away. I mean, this is where sitting down with nothing and actually exploring what you're thinking, which is, it's not easy. Like, I'm not going to pretend like it's an easy thing. It's like anything. It takes a bit of time. But I know, like, for example, I got stuck in a Netflix habit of like a couple of hours after getting home from work. But I noticed that was causing me an anxiety reaction because like I'm there going, what am I doing? But then like, as Netflix is, the episode finishes, I'm like, just one more.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then
you don't even have to make that decision because it just automatically starts for you.
And so it gets like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I want to be in bed earlier because I got to be up at 5. So now I'm anxious because it's like this thing of I'm anxious because I want one more episode, but I need to go to bed. And I'm like, shit. And then I watch one more, and then I'm like, I'm too tired, so I go to bed. Then I wake up, and because I haven't had enough sleep, I'm anxious because I've woken up.
Exactly. And then you start, and it's an awful cycle. You start the next day, you go to work, you struggle through the day, you get home, and you're absolutely knackered, and you're like, what should I do? I'll just sit and watch it. And then it just keeps going and going.
Yeah, but it's really important that we have that sit back time and just go, all right, because everyone knows, like, you know what I mean? Like, even if you're in a bad relationship, you know, but you don't want to address it. But even like those little habits, you know, like Stace gets annoyed at me because I'm like, all right, no more TV this week. And she's like, you're so extra. I'm like, no, I'm noticing how I'm feeling and I need to stop it. Like, nib it in the butt before it becomes a real habit.
And for you, that's fine. But, you know, in relationships or working relationships, friendships, everything, like if you make that, you've come to that conclusion yourself and you make that decision for someone else, it's like, no, I'm not where you are. You
100%.
might think you watch too much, and that's fine. But I'm going to sit here, and this is okay because, and it's just keeping that communication open, you know, and